everybody, welcome. How are you today? So Chantal posted another video called My Favorite Persian Kebab, and I peeked at it to see what was going on besides her eating, because as you guys know, not really a fan of her eating, not a fan at all. I hate it when she posts a video and there's food involved and her eating the food. But I did peek at it just to see what was up, see if it was react worthy. And throughout the video, she's discussing tipping. She's got a problem with mandatory tipping or gratuity. And I've got a whole lot to say about that because something you guys should know. Like years and years ago, I worked in a restaurant. I wasn't a server. I was someone that I worked the buffet, but I talked to many of the people that worked there that happened to be waitresses and waiters, and also other waiters and waitresses from other restaurants. So I've got experience in the food industry, and I've got comments relating to the tipping, and I wanted to share my thoughts, my feelings, and my opinions with you guys. And I certainly welcome you guys giving your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comments section of this video. But before we get into reacting to her video, let's talk about some of the stuff that I found on Twitter. So what do we have here? This is courtesy of Cowboy Dog and Book Lady. This is a screenshot of Chantal's arm and wrist during the anniversary video. I saw this picture and I'm like, OMG. That looks bad. Where is her wrist? You know, for a minute, I thought this was photoshopped in some way, like enhanced. It looks like it's not. But her wrist is completely gone. Chantal, how can you not look at your hand and your wrist and say, I've gone too far. I really need to slow down with the eating. You look like you're ready to explode, girl. You might want to back away from all those calories and carbs. Okay, this is from Liz Erd. Liz says, not only can we see almost every roll, she's got her ham hocks spread so far apart because she's got to let the blank breathe. They're probably on the floor rooting around for fresh air. So yeah, Chantal, I remember when you got that abaya, it wasn't that tight. Now it looks like a bodycon dress. And yeah, she does have to sit with her legs spread all the way apart because of the second tummy underneath the first. So, between the wrist disappearing and the abaya's getting too tight, Chantal, you in trouble, girl. Jolie says, what are you bragging about exactly? Yes, you keep buying his quote-unquote love. A new laptop, a new phone, a new apartment, new furniture, a new car. All your income in his bank account, and you're miserable. You're dumb and pathetic. So remember what Chantal said. She said, all he has to do is fake love me, and I will give him the world. Well, she has not given him the world yet. She's given him all kinds of other things, but not the world. And something that somebody pointed out last night, and I don't know why that this slipped my mind, but they had a wedding anniversary, right? Well, it was all about her getting some kind of flowers and her getting a cake. What about his gifts? What did she give him for the anniversary? And yes, I do know that Chantal has said he got a new car. Maybe that qualified as his anniversary gift. But considering the fact that he got a car and she just got some cheap flowers and a cake, doesn't quite seem even, does it? But I guess that's how the relationship works. Okay, Katie says, posted on Kiwi Farms on November 6, 2022 from Foodie Beauty's community tab. Tell us again how your wedding anniversary is November the 11th, Chantal. So yeah, that's been a bone of contention. Chantal was claiming that it was her wedding anniversary, but yet she can't keep the date straight. So here you go, Chantal. You posted this on your community tab on the 6th of November. And here it is like 6 days after that, 5 days after that. And you're claiming that was your anniversary. Just listen, if you're going to lie, learn how to lie and keep your lies straight. You can't seem to do that. You just keep forgetting dates, times, situations. Happy Go Lucky says, I can confirm, being that I have a best friend who is Middle Eastern. This is a typical gift from a husband to his wife on their anniversary, wedding, engagement, etc. She got nothing. Love that for her. So I guess over in the Middle East, there are lots of gifts that are gold. Here are pictures of some examples of that. Chantal has not received anything like this, not when she got married, and now not for her wedding anniversary. So where's the gold, Chantal? Where's your happy golden anniversary gift, Chantal? Please tell us. We'd love to know. All you got was some cheap flowers and a cake. And I love that for you. I really do. Oh, goodness. What else we got here? Oh, I love this from Mrs. Flupa Booty. These two rocks have more chemistry with each other than Chantal and Salah. You know what? I can feel the chemistry of these two rocks. I can feel the bonding. I can feel how much they have in common. They're both strong, silent types. Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel it. They're definitely a perfect match, unlike Chantal and Salah. Unicorn PSL Pondu says, Chantal, I know you think we're stupid, but come on, girl. They're not even close. They're not even sisters. Yeah, so here is a picture of the happy anniversary card that allegedly Salah wrote for Chantal. And here is down here a card he actually wrote. They don't look anything alike. Chantal, this is your handwriting on the upper left. And here's his handwriting on the bottom right. He didn't write that card. You did. You wrote your own anniversary card. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Peace and Marinara says November 22nd versus November 23rd. Definitely a before and after picture. Before Kuwait, after Kuwait. And no, Kuwait, I'm not blaming you. You're not the reason why she's blown up. She's the reason. But dang, what a difference, Chantal. What a difference 1 year makes. Just getting bigger and bigger, girl. Chantal's French lovers restraining, saying, is that a neck roll resting on the flower paper? You know, I can't say for sure, but it does look like it, doesn't it? I would say that it might be some of the fabric, but she's got that fabric pulled so tight around her face to hold everything and to kind of act like a face contour. It would seem that is part of her neck underneath doing that. And let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Perfectly Imperfect says, all he has to do is fake love me. I guess this qualifies as fake love. You know, cheap flowers, a small cake, and some cheap tea candles. Yep. So that's it for everything on Twitter. So let's go on over to the actual live stream. And as I said, I worked in the food industry for a while, worked in a restaurant. So I'm going to have lots to say on her complaining about tipping. I got lots to say. I'm just not going to hold back with you, Chantal. Just be ready for it. Just know it's coming. All right. So let's get started with this video and hope you guys enjoy the react. Let's do this.
Made in Saudi Arabia? I don't know. Anyway, hi, baby gal. Okay. Let's dig out these kebabs. Nice buttery rice. Yum. I love meat.
You know, and the fact that you're eating like this, Chantal, is proof that he doesn't love you. Because any other loving husband seeing their wife eat like this on a daily basis, they will put their foot down. They would say, what the heck are you doing? Like what do you think you're even doing? This is unacceptable. They would just not allow it. They'd walk away from you if you ate like this because they don't want to see you end up in the hospital. They don't want to be around for that. The fact that Salah is completely okay with this and he's on board with it and he just steps aside and he turns his head while you do this tells us all he doesn't care about you. He's just focused on you making the most money and keeping him comfortable.
Where's my other kebab, you? Here we go. And a huge tomato, a grilled tomato. So let us say Bismillah and dig in.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to disrespect Kuwait or the food there. It just looks so random, doesn't it? You've got a kebab buried beneath all of the rice, all the white rice. You've got a little bit of yellow rice in the corner, and you got one random tomato that's just there for no reason. It just looks odd, very odd.
With the beans dipping in the bread. Mm. As you can tell, we haven't done groceries yet. That will be tonight. Inshallah. Mm. Yogurt? I love yogurt. Plain yogurt on savory food, of course. Mm. This grilled tomato is where it's at. Mm. So, I thought today, it's not for you, baby girl. She's like, what am I having? Oh, we also have some jeer and lemon. I think this is arugula. Mm-hmm. Mm. Now, thought we'd talk about tipping, tipping culture these days.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about it. Because I got lots to say on it, so go ahead.
Beauty sip. Now, tipping culture is different in every country. Like here, it's a choice. Like it's not mandatory. And there's some countries that are like that. There's some countries that frown upon tipping, and then there's some countries who it's basically, like in my opinion, a bit out of control. Like I'm pretty sure Canada being one of those, US. Every time I think of the tipping issue, I think of the Reservoir Dogs movie. Where Mr. Pink is like, Steve Buscemi is like telling everyone off because you got a tip, and the other guy's like, I only tip if it's good service.
Okay, I can't take it anymore. I was waiting for her just to get into the finer points before I said anything, but I can't hold back. And I'm not going to. I am so not going to. This woman complains about spending money. She complains about giving the least amount of money for services rendered. In Thailand, she complained about the cost of cheese and cherries. At the same time, she'll sit down in Kuwait and eat like $100 in takeout every day. Sitting here complaining about tipping. At the same time, she wants to enjoy the convenience of food being brought to her. It's all about her and her comfort. She's always thinking about herself. What about the people who make that food? What about the people who deliver that food? They don't have lives? They don't deserve $5? Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. Just, she's such a cheap person. Overall, she is. And she wants to sit down on a floor with a cheap table or a laptop box on her lap and enjoy the convenience of somebody making the food and delivering it to her. But she's going to complain about people trying to earn a living and pay their bills.
This sauce, oh. Mm. You guys ever had this kebab?
I just think it's ironic that she's choosing a video where she's eating a takeout meal, a delivered meal. She's using a video like this to complain about tipping. I mean, it would be better if she had made the meal herself, and gone through all the steps of making the food and putting it on a plate and messing up her kitchen, using a video like that to make her case versus something like this where she's eating a meal that she did not make. Somebody else made it. Somebody else delivered it.
What do you guys think about tipping?
I'll tell you my view as someone that I used to work in a restaurant for quite a while, and I've been around wait staff and people who were in the restaurant serving others. I think that over in America, perhaps even Canada, the old-fashioned system of waiters and waitresses getting paid a very small wage. And for those who might be interested, waiters and waitresses and staff like that, they only get paid like a few dollars per hour. The bulk of their money comes from tips. I think the old-fashioned system of just hoping on the honor system that customers tip for their meals, that should be abolished. Because a lot of people, they take advantage of that and they don't leave tips on the table. They don't tip 15 or even 20%. They might leave $1. They may leave nothing. And every time that a waiter or waitress encounters a cheap customer, it hurts them. It hurts them severely. Because you got to figure in with each table that they're waiting, that's 20, 30 minutes of their time, maybe even longer, maybe an hour, that they've given and they're not getting anything back. I think there should be a new system that all restaurants, they should just add the gratuity to the bill right away. That way there's no worry about that waiter or waitress hoping and praying that when the customer is done and they go to the table, that there's some kind of tip there. Just take that worry away. Also, something that people might be interested in learning, on top of the fact that waiters and waitresses, they only get like $2 or $3 an hour. Even if you're someone you leave a $5 tip or a $6 tip, 100% of that tip may not go to the waiter or waitress. Some of that may go to the establishment. They have to split the tip with them. Or if the establishment has a busboy, they will split the tip with them also. So there's that. Like waiters and waitresses, they work their butts off. And sometimes they deal with very unpleasant customers, very rude customers, sloppy customers, people who leave one heck of a mess. And if they're working one section, if somebody's left an incredible mess, they have to take their time and clean all of that up before another customer can sit there and they can take their order. So for anybody out there who might have a problem with tipping a waiter or a waitress, just consider this. They're just there to make their living, the same as anybody else. And part of the dining experience is you're going out and you don't have to worry about cleaning up after yourself. You don't have to worry about the dishes. You don't have to worry about the cooking. You don't have to worry about going to get your drinks. There are other people that will do that for you. So all of that convenience, isn't it worth it to tip $5 or $6 or $10 for your bill? For the convenience of having other people do the things that maybe you don't want to do? I think so.
I think it's gotten out of hand with like 20% of your bill. Or, I mean, I don't know. It's just like you're getting tipped extra money to do your job. You know, like you're bringing me a Coke to the table. You're bringing my food from the kitchen to the table. You know, like you're expected to do those things and you're expected to be nice. So don't be super nice and I'll just keep my 20%. 20%, like, I mean, now it's like going up 25%. You see on the thing.
Chantal, I'm sure when you go out to a restaurant, you leave one heck of a mess. You do. Even when you sit in a corner booth away from everybody else because Salah doesn't want to be seen with you, you're sloppy. You're dropping food everywhere. It's on the table. It's on the floor. People have to clean that up. They got to clean up after you because you're a messy eater. Okay, and it's not just them fetching one drink for you. You know, whatever you need, they're there for. Do you need another drink? Like, is there a problem with the food? They are there to wait on you. That's what that 15 or 20% covers. To take your order, to make sure you have everything you need, make sure you have a pleasant dining experience. And I'm probably going to get yelled at for this, but this is just my point of view, y'all. Okay. Dining out is a luxury that not everybody can afford. But if you're someone and you're thinking about going out to eat somewhere, and it's a place where, tipping is a thing, it's not like a fast food restaurant. If you have a problem or you can't afford to leave $5 or $6 for a tip, maybe don't go out and eat. Maybe wait till another time when you can. If you are going somewhere and somebody else is taking your order, serving your food, giving you drinks, cleaning up after you, if it's going to be a situation where you cannot tip them because you can't afford to or you don't want to, maybe just don't do that. Now, some people might argue, well, the restaurant wants our business. True, absolutely true. But you got to think about the other people involved, the staff. They got to make their money. And waiters and waitresses, unless it's a small restaurant, they only have different sections. And there's going to be bad customers. There's going to be good customers. But you got to figure in that some of the customers that come in, they may be really cheap and they don't tip at all. So if there's an assumption that every customer is a good customer and they're tipping, more times often than not, they don't. That's why it's so hard for waiters and waitresses. Because a lot of people do take advantage of the fact they can be cheap and get away with it.
You see, some restaurants make it mandatory to tip. Julia. User. And the biggest argument I see is, how could you not tip a lot? Don't you know waiters only get paid like $4 an hour?
Two or three, yeah. It's true, they do.
It's not true anymore.
Bull crap. You know what? Wait a second. Hold on a minute. Hold, please. All right. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Pennsylvania, $2.83. Rhode Island, $3.89. South Carolina, $2.13. Can y'all imagine working somewhere making $2 an hour or $3 an hour? or like almost $3 an hour, like just making that much. And remember, like when you make a minimum wage, taxes are taken out, so it's actually less than that. Do you see now why waiters and waitresses get stressed out about people who don't tip? It's for that very reason.
Maybe at one time some waiters, yes, but there's minimum wage, you know. I think minimum wage is different for waiters.
Waiters and waitresses do not get 7, 8, $10 an hour. They just don't. They get far less than that. And that wage is taxed. And the tips they receive, oftentimes they have to split with the restaurant itself and perhaps even other employees, like a busboy.
Here's the thing. You know what can fix this problem? How about the corporations or the businesses stop using customers to supplement waiters' incomes? Like, that's the problem.
Chantal, you are such a selfish glutton. You sit there and complain about tipping. At the same time, you order $100 in takeout a day. Maybe that's why you're complaining. Because every time you order takeout, every time you use DoorDash or Postmates, they add the gratuity. And if you're ordering multiple times a day, that does add up. But your main concern is making sure you get fed, making sure you get the most money in your stomach. I'm sorry, the most food, pardon me. That you're stuffed to the gills like a Thanksgiving turkey. You don't care if other people get fed. You don't care if other people, their bills get paid, their rent gets paid, as long as you get fed. Don't talk to me about the cost of tipping and gratuity while you're stuffing yourself. It is so inappropriate.
A tip is a tip.
You know, I've never been a waitress for Chantal, but she strikes me as that customer that would come in at closing time, keep everybody waiting for her to be done. If there was a buffet, she'll raid the buffet, make it a complete mess so that the employees in charge of the buffet would have to sit there and clean it 4 or 5 times. She would make a mess at her table, and the waitresses would have to run around cleaning up the mess. She would have everybody running around getting stuff for her, and at the end of it all, she wouldn't leave a tip. She strikes me as that kind of customer.
Something a little extra. Not supplementing the waiter's whole income. Like paying them less just so they can get tips. Like you can't rely in my opinion it's wrong to rely on that. Especially at rich.
You know, this is one of the rare moments when I agree with you, Chantal. I agree. I think the whole system should be completely revamped. That tipping should not be done at the table. It should be done at the cash register. When the bill is brought up, the gratuity should be added. That way there's no fuss, no muss, no argument, no worry from the waiter or the waitress worrying, are they going to tip me or aren't they? Just add it to the bill. That way there's no fight. You know, you sometimes can't rely on people. A lot of people abuse the whole honor system with the tipping. They take advantage of the fact that they don't have to do it. So if you have a waiter or waitress or staff that tipping is the bulk of their income, then find a way to make sure that they get paid for services rendered.
Chain restaurants, maybe a little mom and pop shop. Well, you still have to like budget to pay your waiters well. I mean, people will say, don't go out to eat if you can't afford to tip. Don't open a
Right?
store if you can't afford to pay your employees. That's my, you know what I mean? Like, no, that's just so wrong, in my opinion. I remember Growing up, tip used to be so cheap, like $2, $3 at the table. Now it's like a whole thing on the transaction. Like, how much do you want to leave? 10, 15, 20? I don't even know if there is a 10 anymore. They keep upping it with it's like it shouldn't go up with inflation. What the heck?
Chantal, if you go out to eat or if you have an order, depending on the size of the order, that's how much more in gratuity you're probably going to have to pay. Knowing you, you'll probably spend like $50, $60 for a meal. Yeah, the gratuity might go up because of that. Okay, this is just some random information, but it might be of interest to you guys. On a rare occasion, I will order from Postmates or Uber Eats. And I don't eat nearly the amount of food that Chantal does. So on the occasions that I've say ordered McDonald's and I order like, the meal combo things, just ordering one burger, fries, and a drink, the order with a gratuity is like 30, $40. So they add another $10. Now imagine if Chantal's using Postmates or Uber Eats or DoorDash or something like that, if she's ordering multiple times a day, she's paying like $30, $40 in tips just by doing that. That's why she's complaining. The fact that not only does she eat fast food, but she eats multiple times a day, and every time she does, she's got to pay gratuity. You know what that says, Chantal? That means you should eat at home more. Eat out less.
I don't know. And if you don't tip like 20%, you get reamed out by people. Like, you're so cheap. Like, they they really give you heck. Also wrong. Maybe the person really can only afford to pay for the meal. And it's not up to the customer to feel guilty that they can't subsidize the waiter's wages. Or the waitress. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I mean that respectfully. I think waitresses and waiters and food servers, they do work hard. I think that you should um, pay them appropriately. It's a form of customer service. I used to get paid, some places like $12 an hour for customer service.
Sorry about that.
So this could use some parm cheese. These beans. Well, I must have put my parm back. Sometimes I have an emergency parm laying around.
And I have to wonder what prompted this conversation. Like Chantal sometimes chooses the most random things to complain about or talk about in her videos. So what prompted this starting of a conversation of complaining about tipping? Like what made that happen? Did Salah complain to her because she orders so much takeout and the food bill is just so enormous? And every time she orders out, gratuity is part of that. And that's starting to add up. I mean, what started this conversation? What made it happen? Maybe she just got a bug up her butt because she looked at all the times she ordered out and all the times she had to pay gratuity. And she thought to herself, doggone it. I ordered out a bunch this week and I paid over $200 or $300 in tips. And that could have been food for me. Like the focus is entirely on how much food she can buy and how often and how overfed she can make herself.
So I'm not cheap. I'm not anti-tipping entirely.
You are cheap. So that was a lie she just said. I'm not cheap. I'm not cheap. Yes, you are. You are cheap. I'm just sitting here thinking about something. The fact that she's in this video complaining about tipping. At the same time, she has a fake, phony husband that she has to completely 100% fund and take care of. She's over there buying him cars. She's buying him new Gucci hats, buying him watches, buying him laptops, buying him computers, buying him anything he wants. She'll spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Salah. This guy that doesn't love her, will never love her, barely gives her attention, won't blink an eye doing it. But she's going to get on a video and complain about leaving $5 or $10 to someone in a restaurant who might be delivering her food or serving her food. Chantal, that waiter or waitress does more work for you and serves you more than Salah does. And yet you're giving Salah more than somebody who's just trying to earn a living and is working their butt off doing it.
But I think it's gone far enough. Like a bit too far with the expectations, you know?
Chantal hates doing anything or being part of anything where she has to do something and there's no way to get out of it. In the past, when she was back at the villa, we saw this woman order takeout, eat 3/4 of it, and then turn around and call up DoorDash or Postmates and say, I didn't like the food, because she wanted a refund. She was scamming the service. She could never do that in a restaurant. They would call her out for it. But she made it her business in Canada to scam different restaurants using a food app service. That's why she hates restaurants and tipping, because if she sat there and tried to pull that nonsense, they wouldn't let her get away with it.
Like tipping at drive-throughs, I don't know. If people want to give a tip, like what am I tipping you for at a drive-through? Handing me my coffee? Like, the person making the coffee, that's your job. That's your job. So to me, the one who should be paying you to do your job is not the customer. It should be the especially something like, a coffee chain. They make a lot of money and they can't afford to pay their employees more. The customers will handle it. Hi. So that just like, as Peter Griffin once said, that really grinds my gears to see people like. What set this all off is I see TikTok videos and
Oh,
I saw one woman.
I was wondering if she'd explain what got her on this kick today.
She worked with DoorDash, okay? And I don't know if you saw this clip, it was viral. And she was knocking at the guy's door. And she was saying, she brought his delivery. And she was like, are you crazy? Like, do you know, I'm paraphrasing. Do you know how far the restaurant is to your home? It's like 40 minutes and you only tipped $8. Lady, $8 is a lot. And why take the assignment if it's too far? You can't, like, people are just relying on people tipping. It's so, like, and like she was so just ungrateful about it, and like only $8. That's like symbolizes perfectly how people see tipping nowadays, like it's just never enough, it seems. Because even if people tip, $2, $3. That adds up if you're working a full shift and every table gives you $2 to $3, which that's manageable for people.
You know what, though? This is where I'm going to stop you, Chantal. This is something you don't understand because you are so ignorant. Obviously, you've never worked in a restaurant. You've never worked in the food service industry at all. You don't know what it's like to be in a restaurant working and be a waiter or a waitress. You're assuming that every restaurant every day gets full of customers. There's going to be days where it's completely dead and nobody walks in, or very few people walk in. You're a waiter or a waitress. It's luck of the draw. Like, if there are multiple waiters and waitresses, somebody might get put in your section, somebody may not. And even then, when people are put into your sections, who knows if they're going to be a good tipper or a bad tipper or tip nothing at all. So you're under the assumption that every restaurant everywhere is completely busy and that everybody who walks in is a good tipper. They're not. They're absolutely not. Some people that come in and eat are absolute nightmares. They're rude, they're bossy, they're demanding, they're noisy, they're disruptive, they're messy. They'll leave a mess at the table that takes you an hour to clean up. And they treat you like a servant. I saw some waitresses that were left in tears with some of the customers. It was ridiculous. It was awful.
To do, you know? So at the end of the day, if you're serving like, you know, it's an extra, let's say an extra 30 to 40 bucks a day, you know, a lot of people don't get 30 to 40 bucks a day over top of their salary just for doing their job. So,
yeah. And like I said, those tips that you get, you don't get to keep 100% of that. You have to split it with other people more often than not.
Anyway, the DoorDash woman who was complaining, took the food back. She just left with the food.
And she probably got fired from DoorDash for doing that.
I can't believe that. Anyway, I definitely think it's on the employer. Pay them better, you know? Well, some businesses can't afford it. Some customers can't afford it, you know? $2 to $3, yeah. But if you go out to eat and your bill's 80 bucks, that's like what, over $20 tip. Or I don't know, I'm bad at math, but it's a huge tip. That's like one meal. So you're tipping a whole meal just to go out and eat?
Wait, what? Stop. What? $80 is one meal? Ma'am, I've gone out to eat with another person and the total bill was like $40, $50. So $80 for you is one meal? That should tell you right there, your food problem is out of control. If $80 is one meal for one person, you got a problem. Because I've gone out to eat with another person and it didn't even get close to that.
I'll never do that again in my life. Sorry.
And wait, I just had a thought before it goes away. I'm going to share it with y'all. Isn't it funny that their anniversary dinner happened just last night? And we all know that Chantal was the one who paid for it, right? Because Salah doesn't work. He doesn't have a job. If he got anything for her, he did it using her money. So, of course, nothing about that night was a surprise. She had to know about all of it. You know, she filled out her own card on her flowers. So isn't it weird? Isn't it strange and funny and interesting how they went out to dinner and she's complaining about paying $80 for a dinner. Was it because of the bill that you got last night for your meal with Salah? Is that the reason why? Is that what this is all about? You know, like your old saying, Chantal, was all he has to do is fake love me and I will give him the world. Well, let me fix it for you. There's another part that goes with that. Salah's reply to that statement, all I have to do is fake love her and she'll pay for everything. See, that fixes it. That pretty much completes the circle.
You know what I mean? I'll get a lot of hate for that because most people are of the mind that, heck yeah, you should be tipping.
Yep.
I didn't say not to tip. Okay. Because we do. I'm just saying it's out of hand.
Not no more out of hand than your eating is. You're saying tipping is out of hand to people who are working hard for their money. People that they've have jobs where they deliver food and they serve food and they do customer service, which is a really hard job. Customer service, I'm just going to say it, it sucks sometimes. Just because you deal with rude customers and you have to maintain your cool. But you're saying those people who are working hard, the tipping for them is out of hand. At the same time, your eating is out of hand. But that's okay because you're on YouTube and eating is what you want to do. But let's complain about people working hard and making money, right, Chantal? That's the thing to do.
And that's just my opinion.
Nobody cares.
Are you pretty? Why do you like to watch me eat every single thing, even if you don't like it? Really yummy. Mm. I love yogurt. I never used to like plain yogurt. Unless it was used in like a sauce. Anyway, that's my opinion on the matter. Way out of hand. Mm. I know I eat the same foods a lot.
Yep, you sure do. You're really racing towards that hospital bed, aren't you?
You know, you can trust it, you know? Are you guys adventurous? Like, you like to try different things from a restaurant? Like, we've ordered from this restaurant many times, and I always get the same thing the kebab.
You know, Chantal is a lover of all food, but I'm sure when she orders food, whether it's in a restaurant or a takeout, her number one concern is bulk and volume. What items on the menu offer bulk and volume? Like, how can I get the most food and pay the least amount of money for it? That's her number one concern. It has nothing to do with how it tastes. It's about getting the most possible so she can stuff herself stupid.
Like, I'm nervous to try something else. Oh, so
Seriously, one person does not need an entire cake tin full of rice. That's insane. Why order all that much except that it makes the feedies happy? Nobody can tell me that's a single portion for one person. That has to be for 2 people or 3 people.
I had Salah. I basically have Netflix again because I wanted to watch Fall of the House of Usher. I don't have the attention span for shows anymore. I tried watching a bunch of shows.
You know, it's so weird. She says she doesn't have the attention span for shows anymore, yet she spends all of her time on TikTok, paying attention to what's trendy and what's going viral. How much y'all want to bet she spends hours on TikTok just looking for some kind of content idea? Yet everything she tries to do to go viral, it never works.
Is that show really good? I kept zoning out. Um, the only one so far that I've been watching consistently when I can is Dahmer.
Are you
Which I
done
kind of
yet?
stopped watching because it made me feel ick. They give you like 3 of these or 4 of these.
So where are the other 3? That thing is, you get a pie, like not a pie tin, a cake tin that you can make brownies in, full of rice. You've got one of the breads right there. Like, where's the other 3? That's just one. Where's the others?
We always put some in the freezer. So I have a ton of cucumber. Oh, yeah, by the way, so on Netflix, I always change the subject.
Yeah, you do. You're not good at conversation.
I had Salah try, I had Salah watch 1408. Like, whatever happened to John Cusack anyway? Is he still making movies? I haven't seen any. But, he really liked it. I didn't think he would. But he did. He was intently watching it. And the cat, too, in bed was like. And then I was like, but the book is better. The short story is better. The movie is good, but they have to elaborate it because the short story is short, right?
Okay, shut up.
So cute. No? Shubadik means what do you want in Arabic? Watching for signs along the way. I love the Carpenters.
Do not put the Carpenter's name in your mouth. I love the Carpenter's music, so please don't sing. Don't sing. You're not Karen Carpenter. She had the most lovely, unique voice. It was like honey over your senses. It's just so soothing. Don't sing their songs.
Poor Karen. Mm. So yeah, groceries tonight. Hopefully. And
I don't even know why they buy groceries. I think the only thing they go to the grocery store for is her junk food. Because it would be a waste for them to buy healthy food. She's not going to eat it. She will not. I mean, you got to know their food bill is through the roof between buying constant groceries and constant takeout. That's where the bulk of her money is going. Because even with groceries, she's not slowing down on the takeout food.
then, grocery haul.
Anybody else out there? Yes or no? The grocery hauls are boring. Who's interested in the grocery hauls? I'm not. Going to the grocery store and getting basic essentials is not content worthy. I don't know why she thinks it is content worthy, but she's so desperate for anything that she can put into a video. She'll go and get basic items and say, I want to make a video now. Not content worthy. Chantal, we don't need a video every time you go to the grocery store. Can you just not do that?
With prices.
We don't care. Listen, we don't care what you buy. We don't care how much it costs. We really, really don't. We really don't need a video. I'm just saying, we don't need one. We're not, this is something that nobody asked for and nobody wanted.
Um, and then tomorrow, there's something I've been craving and I have to make it.
Oh, geez. Famous last words. I was craving it. Y'all know what that means, right? Look, she's got a problem with food. And when there's a certain language when you got a problem with food. And whenever you say to yourself, I am craving something, you are giving yourself permission to eat something that you really shouldn't be eating. You're making it okay to eat whatever it is she's got in mind. Like you're justifying it. Oh, I'm craving it, therefore I should have it. No, if you're craving it, you have the power to say, no, I don't need that. I think I won't have it.
Mm.
You know, just as you say yes to yourself or something, you can also say no. What in the world? Why is there a zoom in on Julia?
Why are you looking at the bread with despair? Why?
Chantal, I'm all the way over here and you're all the way over there, and I can look at that cat and tell she needs to be brushed. She's got all kinds of mats all over her belly. For God's sakes, woman, brush her. Or do something about the mats before they go down to the skin. For freak's sake.
You wish it was a big mouse? What? It's nice of you to join us. She's gotten so big. Okay, I think it's bugging you being there.
Oh, is that what happened? So I missed that part. Sorry. So Chantal took a piece of food and put it near Julia, and now she's taking it away. And she has the nerve to complain and gripe about Julia being all up in her business when she does a mukbang in front of the camera. Chantal, you conditioned Julia to come to you to get food when you do your videos. If you don't want her doing that, you got two options. A, don't feed her human food. Just don't do it. Don't train her to come up to you when you're filming a video. Don't coax her with food to come up and visit you. 2, before your videos, feed her. Because if she's full, she won't care about your food.
So yes, I like the movie. Um, one of my favorite horror movies because I love the story. Have you guys read the short story? If you really want a creepy short story,
Uh,
actually, a lot of the stories in
Jump cut for no reason.
Stephen King's Everything's Eventual is so good. Are so good. You have to read them. Save the rice. And one of those stories is 1408.
You know what? She's only got a couple minutes left. I don't care. Let's go on to the comments. What do the people have to say about this tipping issue? Let's put their thoughts in. Labia says the USA is big of tipping because people do not get paid a lot, and very often the tip is not included in the service. For example, in Belgium, it always says tip included in the bill. The same when I went to Japan, etc. It does depend on the countries and the cultures. Of course, you can always tip over in cash. Yeah, well, I've already gave my opinion. I think that the old-fashioned system of just the honor system of just thinking that most of the customers will leave the tip on the table, just get rid of that and just add the tip to the bill. And that way there's not a fight. There's not a fuss. The person doing the service, they know they're going to get paid. And there's not a big to-do about it. Go says, we're in Texas, USA. And if I can't afford a decent tip, I can't afford to dine out. Nice. Period. My partner is the same. We both worked as servers before and would have starved to death if not for customers' tips. Right. Because servers don't get paid much. You know, they're not even giving like regular minimum wage for servers. Their minimum wage is like $2 or $3 an hour. Can you imagine? $2 or $3 an hour? Even after a full day of work, you're not making much as far as your normal wage. Twice divorced Bird says people working in the food industry should be paid very high, but unfortunately they are being paid very, very, very low for a job that is very, very hard. True. Of course, customers are not responsible for the bad wages. Yes, I agree with that. But since wages are not going to be increased anytime soon due to the fact that for classism reasons, these jobs are considered of low status quo. So I think that we should tip those people, right? For us leaving a small tip may be nothing, but for them it is everything. Absolutely. And something that I would like to add in right here, you know, like I worked in different restaurants and clubs as a server. Okay. And, you know, if you come in and you tip decently and you're a nice person, you get better service. Even after I was off work, if I would go out at night, like just go to a restaurant like an IHOP or something just to have breakfast, you know, I always tipped very well. Same thing if I used taxis, you know, like I tipped my hat and I gave respect to those in customer service jobs and people that relied on tips. I understood how it worked. And those that are servers, those in the food industry, service industry, if you're a cool person and you tip, they will remember you. And the next time you come in, they will treat you like a VIP. You know, like being a cool person, being a decent person, minding your manners, tipping decently. Trust me, that goes a long way. Absolutely a long way. We remember the bad ones and we remember the good ones too. KH says, so safe to say your waiter from your anniversary dinner didn't get much of a tip. Nope, probably didn't. Probably didn't. Trinap says memberships are tips. Are they? Foodie argues saying no, they are not. They are paying for something most of the time and it's not obligatory or expected. It's not the same at all. A membership and tip are totally different. Yeah, but for the people that are paying memberships, what are they getting in return for their money, Foodie? For the privilege of talking to you? You can't even come back and argue and say, oh, the people that are paying their VIP, the $5, they get exclusive looks at videos before anybody else does. They get lots of perks. They get membership only streams. There are no perks to being one of your members. None. None. It's just people paying their money for no doggone reason other than the fact that they're stupid and they haven't figured out yet that they're paying money and not getting much back in return from you. The real level midnight says in the United States, servers can make only $2. So they live off tips. It's pretty terrible. It does fall on the shoulders of the corporations, but until the United States government steps in and forces the companies to pay a living wage, servers unfortunately survive on tips. Yeah, like this. It's just that's how the system is. That's how it goes. It sucks. It's not fair. It's not fair to the customer that the responsibility or not responsibility, I'm sorry, but like this, it's not fair on either level. It's not fair for the server to have to survive on so little or be so anxious about what am I going to make this week. And it's not fair to put the bulk of that responsibility on the customer to make up for really what the server should be getting from a normal wage. Let's see. Miss Shani says $16 an hour here where I live for fast food workers, depending on if you're single or have a family and whatnot. It's hard to live off. So if this person's saying it's $16 an hour and it's hard to live off of that, imagine what it's like for someone who's a server or a waiter. They're only making $2 or $3 an hour. And then they're like crossing their fingers that somebody comes in and leaves a decent tip. Let's see. Breaking Insanity says, is this an old video? Because you posted a groceries haul 4 days ago. I don't know. Sometimes she likes to post things out of order to confuse people. Or she might have just eaten through all of her groceries and it's time to go back again. You never know with Chantal. Mother D says tips has always been an acronym for to ensure prompt service. Otherwise, take your place in line. Interesting. What else we got here? Kalari says, I really love if you got your weight under control. Your health and beauty would really pop. Also, your something haters would really hate seeing you succeed. Her success is completely up to her. Like she's the captain of her own ship. If she wants to be successful on any level of her life, she's in control. But Chantal doesn't really want to be in control. She wants to be out of control and be in pain and suffer and make that into content. So that's really on her. So that's it for this React video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you very much for being here, and I hope to hear from some of you. Leave your opinions and thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Take care, everybody, and have a really, really great rest of your day. Bye.